this up. We are going to look into a transformation you are either currently going through or that you are going to go through soon at the time of whenever you're watching this. Okay. So I'm going to pull a card for pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and you can pick. So for pile 1, oh, wow. Pile 1. Pile 2. Okay. Wow, I was just thinking about this card. That's funny. And pile 3. Hold on. Wow, 3's taking a moment. Okay, there she blows. Interesting. I think you might be the luckiest of the group, pile 3. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just kidding. Usually I'm surprised by how the oracle cards play out once we add new cards in. So don't be fooled by the titles of each card. Just go with your intuition, whatever calls to you more. Again, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. All right, hello, pile 1. Off the bat, I'm thinking that the transformation that you are either currently going through or about to be going through has to deal with, it's possible that you're going to be out of your comfort zone in the sense that you might have to be a little more disciplined than you normally are. Okay, that's interesting. And we got the Hermit. I'm getting like a sense that you are refining something. You are working on like the mundane part of things, doing the nitty gritty. Two of Wands in reverse. I think that, yeah, you're being slowed down in a sense and pulled inward. Like you might be a go person. Like not, I don't know. The intuitive hit I'm getting is that you're probably kind of a go in the sense of I just want to have fun. I just want to make moves, you know what I mean? Like, but you're kind of being called inward in the sense that you are having to deal with the more mundane, boring aspects of refining whatever it is that you're trying to refine. Yeah. This transformation that you're currently going through definitely is pulling you into like self-reflection mode, grown-up wise, you know, because like I think there's a tendency to think when you got Hermit that you're doing like some sort of deep inner self-reflection. But the vibe that I get from all of these cards is that you actually just, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish or whatever it is you're trying to do in life right now, the transformation you're going through is that you want to be able to just go for it. Like you want to be able to You feel like you're ready. You feel like you just want to let loose and do whatever it is you want to do, but you're essentially being pulled into an energy of like, because this card is very much saying it's not the time. It's not the time. And you know, this upright would be send it, send the energy, send whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, send it. Like, it's time. It's time. You've made your plans. Let's go. But you know, in the reverse, that is, it's a bit of a corrupted energy, meaning that like, it's not, this indicates to me it's not time. It's time for you to very much do refining, to do mundane, like, working on whatever it is that you're working on. Very, like, I'm getting like details, hard work, etc. But I want to know what it is, if this is resonating with you, about this. Like, what's coming? Well, that's interesting. Like, what's the positive stuff coming? Oh, okay. Well, that, yeah. I think you don't want to go through this transformative period. I think that you don't really find it, like, it's just not appealing or fun to you. You're resisting it, but it's necessary, okay? So what are we making way for? What's the positive stuff that we're making way for? What is being, like, what are we making way for? Page of Wands in reverse. All right, I think the thing that you're making way for is your heart's not in it right now. Like, you're avoiding, I want to say you're avoiding recklessness, in the sense that, not that you're gonna just make silly decisions, but recklessness in the sense that your inspiration is not there, your heart is not in it, and essentially this transformation period where you're having to take a look at like the more detail oriented things of whatever it is you're trying to do. It's helping you to build back your inspiration. It's helping you to get your inspiration back. Two of Swords. Interesting. There's like two energy. Like, over here we got Two of Wands in reverse, and over here we got Two of Swords upright. So there's like something with decision making as well. It's helping you to get to a point where you feel like you can more authentically make a decision. Because like intuitively, the way that I think about this is that it's possible that you have stuff in the back of your head for whatever issue or whatever's going on in your life. It's going to be different for different people, but whatever issue is going on in your life, you have stuff maybe like lurking in your subconscious that's like confusing you and blocking you. And so the transformation you're going through is, it feels like you just want to get out and you just want to do the thing. But the transformation you're going through is one that's like pulling you in to look at all the little fine details that you're missing, so that you can feel more adequately able to make decisions moving forward. And like that in turn is also going to give you more inspiration and more energy and more like purpose for whatever it is going on. Oh, these are backwards. Anything else for what this is making way for? All right, that's all for what this is making way for, but I want to get, if this is resonating and making sense, I want to get a little bit about like advice on how to make the best use of this time. If you are digging the vibes currently, please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts, comments, anything like that, you can go ahead and leave those below. Ooh. Whoa. It wanted to come out real bad. I don't know, dude. We got the swan. That's so cute. Okay, so I just got this deck. This deck is new to me, and like it has 68 oracle cards in it. So that's a lot of cards. So I'm not familiar with this card, right? So, I mean, I can think about what like a swan intuitively means, but I wanted to just look at the deck, just give a little peek. And what's interesting, I'm like falling in love with this deck because I swear to God, every time I look at one, like mid-reading, the first line is always crazy. Like it's always something that's just like goes with exactly the vibe of whatever I was saying. So the first line of the swan says, "There is no use in living a life where you are not present." Okay, and it talks a lot about rushing from one place to the next. And yeah, so I feel like there is a vibe where you're just like trying to get things done and you're like trying to make things happen, but you're not fully in it because there's just like, first of all, you're not like, you might not be fully in your body. I personally think that disassociation is something that, you know, with the fast-paced world we live in today, and with the fact that we're just now learning to talk about repressed trauma, and you know, something I learned from one of my therapists that I've had was that a lot of people think, oh, I'm fine, nothing crazy happened to me, like I never got abused, I never got bullied, I never got whatever, this, that, the other. But she talked about how there's little T's and big T's. And like a lot of little T's can be just as traumatic as big T's. And little T's are like, the way she described it, it's like all of us are walking around with little T's, okay? Because we live in this fast-paced world with the trauma of the fact that most of us have to work way too much in order to afford basic needs. And, you know, like nobody has any time for themselves, for their loved ones, for their self-care, for their hobbies, for whatever. Like, that's a bunch of little T's, you know, like, and I feel like a lot more people than anyone realizes are in a state of disassociation a lot of the time. And that kind of feels like it might be where you're at, like where this transformation that you're going through is pulling you into yourself. It's pulling you into the present moment, specifically so that you can become more aware of what's going on in the back of your head that you maybe haven't been listening to or aware of. And what that's going to do is it's going to get you more present. It's going to get you more in touch with yourself. It's going to bring inspiration. It's going to make you feel essentially like you are an active, authentic role in your own life, in your own decision making, etc. Do we have any more advice? Wow, that one just came out so quick. And it's crazy because I cut it to this, and then when I shuffled and like when I like did the shuffle thing here and then started to shuffle it here, it popped out. I cut it to this and then it popped out again. That's crazy. That's how you know, because I always say, like, sometimes I'll look at a card and I'll be like, is this meant for this? And then I just say, if it comes back, it's mine. And like, it came back, so it must be yours. Okay. I don't know Roman numerals. Hold on. I have to count the cups. Okay, so like, I'm pretty sure that's 9. I have to Google Roman numerals because I'm only counting 6 cups. Oh, it would make sense if this is 6 cups based off of this scene. VI. Yeah, it is 6. Okay. Okay, so the advice here is when you're being pulled inward, remember, especially with this swan here, don't get caught up on like past issues and past don't get caught up on the past. Essentially, don't get caught up on, you know, inner child stuff, or like you can think about those things. That's all fine and dandy. But really, this is less about your past and less about your past issues and less about your past nostalgia and the times that I want to get back, anything like that. It's less about what you want from the past or what you didn't like from the past. It's more about getting you in touch with the right now. What's going on with you right now? It's about getting in touch with you, who you are today, what you need today, what's going on in the back of your head today, what's going on in your body today, what do you need today, who are you today? So the advice here for this period of time is really for you to get present with yourself in order to be able to conjure up that inspiration, that decisiveness, that clarity. Okay, so I think that's about all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Hello, pile 2. It's crazy because I was thinking about this card earlier today. I don't know why I was thinking about it, but like this deck is literally my favorite deck, Oracle deck that I've ever had, probably. I think it's beautiful and it just like, it calls to me. So sometimes I randomly think about it, and I was thinking about this card, okay? And what's crazy is this isn't even a card that I've like pulled a lot or that I've considered a lot, but when I'm looking at it, what I'm intuitively getting for you is that actually I want to say this. It's possible, because I never connected the dots between the artwork and what it says and what it's called. And sometimes I'm proven wrong when I pull more, but when I look at this, it tells me that there is a possibility that you might be having some confusing experiences when it comes to spirituality, okay? You might literally be having some confusing experiences when it comes to otherworldly stuff, when it comes to, I don't know, maybe you have some mediumship stuff going on that's confusing you. And this is something, oh my God, if that is something you're going through, if that resonates with you, like I could talk about that on my own. I feel like I don't even need cards, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. What do you have to say? 9 of Pentacles in reverse. So if this does have to do with spirituality, I'm thinking like what the vibe that I'm getting is that you might be diving too quickly with not enough groundedness, and that might be part of the problem, and that might be part of what's confusing you, because you're just going balls to the walls without really and again, I know a thing or two about that. Sheesh. So if you're confused when it comes to, let's see, I want to know, like, give me a verifier, a clarifier. Actually, I kind of want to get one from here. No. Girl. The Chariot in reverse, chaos. For sure. I think even if this isn't specifically about spiritual experiences, although I get a strong sense that it might be about spiritual experiences, but really it seems like the transformation going on regardless has to do with like a lack of groundedness, which is causing you deep chaos in your life, causing you to like not really, like, you are unsure of what's going on because there is a lack of like groundedness. There's a lack of like, I could just full on lean into what it's saying, discernment, critical thinking. There's like a lack of logical analyzing what's going on. I want to say skepticism. I want to say like you're just going balls to the walls without really thinking about things in a practical way. There's like something where you're with this transformation where you're being called to have more practicality to whatever it is that's going on. Oh. I said, what's in my head? I said, what's displeasing about this? And I got the Hanged Man. Yeah. What's displeasing about this? You're being slowed down. You're going to be slowed down, essentially, so that you can get practical, get grounded. What positive outcomes are going to come from this? Okay. And then this one really wanted to come out. That's interesting. Positive outcomes. 9 of Wands in reverse. Which, if... Okay, so essentially the positive outcome from slowing down, from reassessing, from getting practical, from getting grounded, from... and really you're being called to lean into practicality, to logic, to analytical, like assessing your situation. And like the positive thing that's going to come from this, is that you're not going to, essentially, if you keep going at the rate you're going, you're gonna burn yourself out, and you're gonna it's not, you might get some bad results, because I'm looking at, like, what I'm being pulled to is this versus these cards. And if I could just give you a little bit of my experiences, if this does have to do with spirituality, what's crazy is that before I dove into messing around, like fully diving into consciously working with my spiritual experiences, I got a tarot reading on it, because my spiritual experiences and my psychic experiences were always something that I was very scared of. And I got a tarot reading on it, and the tarot reading essentially said, like I said, like, why have I always had these experiences? And the tarot reader said, this was like fucking 6 years ago, I don't know, it was a while ago, but it was something along the lines of, yeah, you have some, mediumship abilities in your family. You can look into it if you want to, but don't do it without knowing what you're getting into, okay? And I don't think you necessarily have to, like, be well-read and studied. I do everything chaotically, okay? I live my life in the Chariot in reverse. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to, but what you do have to know is that if you are not mentally prepared and you continue going down a path without grounding yourself, without understanding, without looking into things from a practical matter, you can scare yourself. Scary things can happen. And I want to say that, like, my perspective on this is not that anything... First of all, I don't think there's a situation, and I have overcome so much anxiety and fear in the last few years. Like, I was so, like, such a ball of anxiety and fear and doom and gloom most of my life until the last few years. And actually what helped me face my fears was overcoming one of my greatest fears by diving headfirst into spirituality, by diving headfirst into communicating with spirits, literally. But so what I want to say is, like, there's no situation that is going to ruin your entire life. First of all, you can, nothing can happen to you unless you allow it, like in the spiritual. Spiritually, bad things can't happen to you unless you allow it on a conscious or unconscious level. And this is something they talk about in hypnosis school as well. And I have seen it firsthand, okay? You can't be hypnotized. Nobody can go against your will if you don't believe it, okay? If you don't believe either you in some way, like, deserve it, or that it, like, you have to allow things into your life, essentially. So you don't have to worry about that. I will say that sometimes your higher self will allow experiences that will scare you because they're meant to scare you back in the right direction. Okay, that's happened to me as well. And they're meant to, like, sometimes they're meant to scare you in the right direction. I've had experiences where I was literally scared into standing up for myself and putting up boundaries. I've had experiences where I was scared into learning other people's boundaries and learning respect for other beings. I, like, most times, and so I never want to say there's nothing to worry about, but the things that you would maybe have to worry about, like, you don't actually have to worry about, literally. You can just know for a fact that you don't claim it, you don't want it in your life. But most times when spirit hands hard lessons, first of all, a quick perspective shift can make it not scary. Because I'm not even kidding, I used to have mediumship experiences that terrified me my whole entire life. And now that I, like, consciously worked with the very same entities that I was afraid of, the same experiences I don't perceive them as scary. Because I know, because I'm conscious, because I'm aware, because I've learned about it, right? So a perspective shift can help. But I think this is all just me trying to say that, like, I'm not saying you have anything to be afraid of. I'm not saying, like, all you need to do is know that you're good. At the end of the day, you're good. At the end of the day, everything will work out. Everything will be fine. Like, you're not going to be messed with. You might be messed with. There is a tough love aspect of spirit, okay? And there are probably mischievous beings that are not part of, our divine guidance. But you don't really have to worry about those so much. So this is all just to say, don't be afraid. Like, there's no reason to be afraid. But I think what's being said right now is that you're being slowed down more than likely in spiritual nature, because the direction you're going in is chaotic. And if you don't slow yourself down, ground yourself, and people say ground yourself all the time. And when I'm saying you need to get practical. You need to get logical. You need to, like, really assess what makes sense, okay? You need to add some more practicality and some, like, material world understanding back into what's going on with you. Well, this just wanted to come out. Chill out for a moment, or you're going to be... Okay, so yeah, you need to reflect on whatever is going on in your life that is becoming chaotic. You need to slow down, reflect on it, and essentially add more groundedness and practicality into it and understanding of the world around you. Add more logical understanding, add more, get more practical about it and realistic about it. And understanding, learning, like, add the learning element, the logic element to whatever it is you're doing. Rest, reflect, because if you don't, what's being said over here is that essentially you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to overwhelm yourself. You're going to be overburdened. You might have things that are, like, scary and uncomfortable happen to you. And again, I want to say, if things that are scary and uncomfortable happen to you, what you need to understand is that, like, no matter what, it'll all work out in the end. It's not life-changing. I mean, it can be life-changing, usually for the better, not for the worse. I don't think anything can change your life for the worst, okay? You can be so stubborn that you refuse to change for the better. but I don't think anything can change your life for the worse, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about your life being ruined or anything like that. But you might, if you don't slow down and reflect, you might have some experiences that are uncomfortable, that scare you, and that make you feel really overwhelmed, okay? I'm sorry to say that. I want to get into the positive stuff. I want to get into advice. I want to get into, like, things that will essentially, like, lift your mood and stuff. Positive advice, okay? If you're digging this and it's resonating with you, feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, or you want to talk about what's going on, or you want to tell me that you think I'm crazy or anything like that, feel free to comment down below. No big deal. Okay, so I want to grab some. Let's get some advice, some lighthearted, positive advice, okay? Number 1, the waterfall in reverse. Are you gonna do anything else from this cute deck? Advice, please. Oh, which one are you? It's this one. I don't know. Oh, the swamp. Okay, so I know the swamp. I pulled, this deck is new to me, and there's 68 freaking cards in it, so I have to reference them. The swamp is about like going into your subconscious mind. You know the saying, drain the swamp, okay? It's about essentially going into the like chaotic back of your mind, and like getting out the stuff that is like kind of screwing stuff up and corrupting things for you and making things confusing and chaotic. It's about like going into your unconscious mind and draining the swamp, essentially figuring out what it is that's corrupting things and making things chaotic and confusing, and getting it out of there, okay? And the waterfall, let's see what this one's about. Okay, so this one is talking about being honest with yourself. And it's talking about, in order to essentially come to a more balanced, positive place, you first have to be honest with yourself, okay? So this is talking about lying to yourself in a way that creates some sort of victim-villain narrative. And it could be that you are making yourself the villain and you're not, or it could be that you are making somebody else the villain and they are not. But it's talking about you creating a victim-villain narrative as a means to like not have to deal with stuff, essentially. But it's saying, it's essentially saying that once you are honest with yourself, it might be difficult, but like once you're honest with yourself, you are going to bring yourself to a much more positive, balanced, happy place. And as always, going through the process, like the draining of the swamp in your unconscious mind is one of the most uncomfortable processes. It is, I think it's processes. I don't know, however you say it. I think it is one of the most uncomfortable processes that one can go through. It is painful, uncomfortable, and you really have to sit with the ways in which your ego has developed coping mechanisms, and you really have to tell yourself it's okay, it's fine, it's normal, and you really have to like baby yourself while you go through this uncomfortable period of getting all the BS in the back of your mind out of your mind. But once you do that, it does come to this like way more positive, happy place that like feels more true and authentic and light. This is longer than I expected, but I'm just gonna ask one more time. Anything else for advice? Okay, that came out so quick. Whew. Okay, so it's the King of Cups. It did come out in reverse, but I think the advice here is really take care of your emotions as well. And when I'm saying take care of your emotions, again, it kind of goes with this waterfall card. It's not just take care of your emotions. It's like, because you have to be honest with your emotions. You have to be like honest about how you're actually feeling and where you're actually at in order to make any progress. But while you're being honest with yourself, you also need to take care of yourself and nurture yourself. This is really just confirming to me, especially with all this water here. With all this water here, my goodness. I'm thinking that you're being this period of transformation. You're being called into a period where you really have to take a hard look at yourself. And you're being asked to do so honestly, like brutally honestly, but also at the same time, nurture your emotions. Don't beat yourself up. Allow yourself to rest and reflect before you completely spin out of control and overburden yourself. Allow yourself to rest and reflect, but do so while also holding yourself and holding space for yourself. You know what I mean? Okay. I hope this made sense, and I hope it was helpful in some way. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much, Pile 2. See you later. Hello, Pile 3. I think that card speaks for itself, but you know, sometimes when I start pulling cards, it becomes a little different than what you would just think right off the bat. So let's see what we get. It says your transformation has to do with prosperity. What's going on with this transformation? God, you might be the truly luckiest of the luckies of the piles, to be honest. I'm not the type of person who's going to tell you you're about to be rich and famous, though. Like, I'm sorry. I'll look for any other thing before I look for that, because I just don't think that happens as often as a lot of people would have you believe. So, we got the Sun in reverse. Oh my God, you cannot make this up. That's crazy. And those all three fell on the floor. You got the whole damn sky in reverse. Wow. So, there's something here. Yeah. There is something here with, maybe you might be having some sort of thing with money right now, okay? It's like you're like literally losing. It might be money. It might be money. You're losing hope in some way, okay? Wow. You might have been waiting for some sort of financial transformation, and you're like losing faith right now. You're confused. That's what the vibe I'm getting is like, yeah, it definitely has to do with money. It does. It's not necessarily rich and famous, but I do think that you are going through a financial transformation, and I want to say you've probably been at it for a while, and you've probably been expecting it for a while, and you probably are losing hope. You might be losing hope. Okay, so you're confused. You probably at one time had a lot of hope about the situation, and you're confused right now. So what's the transformation? What are we transforming to? Sheesh. God, hit us with I said, you're the luckiest pile of them all. Queen of Swords. Well, this came out with it, so that's interesting. What's going on with this Queen of Swords? Elephant. I think that you might be stuck in an unrealistically negative mindset about yourself, specifically about yourself. Okay. And like, you're kind of, the transformation you're going through is about, this sounds so freaking corny, but it's about learning to believe in yourself. That's what's happening right now. You're learning to believe in yourself. You're learning to believe in yourself. Okay, so if you're going through a financial thing, or like you expected some sort of financial transformation, like you expected that you were going to start pulling in a certain stream of income, or you expected that you were going to start getting more money, getting a raise, something like that, and you're not, this transformation is about removing the blockages of like doubting yourself, doubting that it's possible, doubting that you deserve it, doubting that you're capable of it, doubting that you essentially can do it. Like you're pushing past a hump of scarcity, really, truly, and the feeling that you're just always going to be in that you deserve it, that you're always going to have this feeling, like essentially that you can't create more for yourself in the way that you want to. Okay. And the transformation you're going through right now is that you're really being asked to be more realistic, because I think you're honestly unrealistic with this Queen of Swords. It's like you might be so negative that it's literally not realistic. You know what I mean? Like you might be so negative that it actually doesn't make sense. The feelings you're having about yourself actually don't make sense. And you could literally probably logic your way out of it. Like if you thought about it, if you think negative stuff about yourself or your capabilities or what's going on in your life, you could probably honestly logic your way out of it to the point where you go like, one thing I like to do when I have to logic my way out of things is I compare myself to others, in the sense that I set impossibly high standards for myself. So I look around me and I go, well, other people are doing X, Y, and Z, and they don't need to do all these things that I think I have to do, and they're doing fine, and they're, creating whatever they want to create, and they're doing it the way they want to, and it works for them, and it's fine. And like sometimes I have to logic my way out of my false limitations, and it feels like that might be what you're going through right now. Like you've created all of these false limitations for yourself that you have to then get yourself out of. That's a transformation that you are going through. And I think that what would help you a lot is if you leaned on logic, because I just think that you're being unrealistically pessimistic is what's going on. And listen, I feel you, okay? As a person with 5 planets in Capricorn, I often wonder, does it ever get better? Do things ever change? But I know they do. When you look back and you logic yourself out of it, you go, yeah, things actually are changing for the better, okay? And like I get unrealistically pessimistic all the time. And it's pretty easy to just compare things to the world around you and think about like what's realistic and what's not, and then go from there. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what's going on with you right now. Is you're learning to give yourself grace and space and allow yourself to be optimistic in a realistic way, okay? So I'm going to ask if there's any like positive outcomes or like the advice, okay? If you are digging this, if this is resonating with you, please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments you want to add, anything you want to say, you want to tell me things that you agree or disagree with, I don't really care either way. You feel free to leave them below as well. Okay, so let's actually first go this way. What's a positive outcome? Or what is the positive outcome? Like, what are we making space for? What are we making space for? King of Wands in reverse. Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. And then this was left behind. So essentially what you're making space for with this Six of Swords, Knight of Swords, King of Wands in reverse is, okay, what you're making space for is to believe that you are capable of doing what it takes to get to where you need to go. Okay, so a lot of like getting these and then looking back at this, it's like I think a lot of the negativity that you might be having that's literally unrealistic is that you don't think you're capable of doing what it takes to get where you want to go. But so you're going through this period of transformation in which you are really having to assess all of the thoughts and all of the things that are like limiting you. And like you're going through this period of transformation where you're releasing the part of you that believes you're not capable of getting you where you need to go. What you're making space for is believing that you are capable of going where you need to go and actually going there and actually doing the things that you need to do. Believing that, yes, I am capable of doing the things that I need to do in order to get where I need to go. Like you might self-sabotage a little bit, but this transformative period is taking you to a point where you will no longer be self-sabotaging because you will believe that you are possible. You're smart enough. You are determined enough. You are all the things you need to be in order to get where you need to go. And so this period of transformation is essentially going to put it in your face. Like there will be no avoiding it, okay? You are going to have to come to terms with the fact that you are capable of going where you need to go, and then you will be going there. That's it. Transition to a better place. That's what you'll be doing. Okay, so I think that's all I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much. See you later, pile 3.